So all this so you can get an idea where old you even is with whatever he's doing now in the future. Like, he's not even in, like, our timeline, right? He's just, like, another Earth version by now. Yeah, but I just need the closure, alright? So you're good to go? Yes! So I am, Summers, Sergeant TechCom. Am I doing it right? This is new to you, being all nostalgic and stuff, you know, right? You could just, like, go straight into it. You know, like this. Hey everybody, this is Retrokid Reviews, and his partner, the Wolverine Real Life Edition. Yes, still keeping the title, no matter what you guys think. Yep. And, yeah, this is our review for, retro review of the Terminator. And, Cable, do you want to take it away? I was gonna get into the specs of the Future War, and the 101 models of infiltration and all that stuff. The plot, dude, you know this, right? You watch the movie a lot in the Sky Trap, right? Yeah, I kinda. There was that TV version that was the only one that got saved. Wait, the TV version? The one that they cut out the sex scenes and shit? Yeah, why? That's not the definitive version? No, it's not. However, if you want the real version, this is a real tidbit here. Turns out YouTube Movies has had this movie on their service since, I want to say, the start of the platforms, that side of the platform. So, go to the link below if you guys want to see the full the full movie. Again, I'm not sponsored by Google or anything. I just thought it was a pretty cool tidbit and a good, useful tool if you guys want to do future retro reviews yourself. So with that all being said, what's there to say about this 40th anniversary review that hasn't already been said by every other YouTuber that has done behind the scenes on this thing for decades? I got this point. Well, not really much. I did some bonus research by listening through that Resistance game that came out a few years ago. This is the same studio that did RoboCop, Rogue Nation. No, not Rogue Nation. Rogue City. That might be another retro review I would like to do when that turns 40 or something like that. Oh, sure, thanks, Nathan. Let's get to the details. What's there to say about Schwarzenegger hasn't already been said by pretty much everyone, other than the Dick Miller scene here and the Phase Watt rifle that he clearly didn't get here in this timeline. The name of the game is Timelines. Go to Nerdist, like I said in my retro review for Aliens, of all the timelines this franchise has had one too many of. And I think I also mentioned this too when I did my Terminator 2 review. This franchise has been bounced around by a bunch of studios for about 4 decades. So for the first studio that got their crack at this was MGM, way back in the early 80s. That is a very young Schwarzenegger, by the way. Getting to the point about him, he actually started this movie, I think, in between the Conan movies. Got discovered earlier on in the decade with the Mr. Olympian, I think, Pumping Iron documentary, and also, I think, doing a Hercules in New York, but they had to double him over because he was very Austrian at the time, like, very thick, the accent kind of stuff. And, yeah, there's really no other details I want to keep talking about the actual puppeteering and, the cyberdyne system stuff, because that will come later in the sequel, and leave it over to Cable here for the details. Right, so the future is insane. It's literally 5 years from now, but it's a different timeline and stuff like that. We'll get more into timelines when we get to that new anime later this weekend. I take points on that review. This isn't a chain of command. You could just say dibs, dude. Right, whatever. Kyle Reese. Michael Biehn was playing him back in the 80s, and yeah, also talked about him in the retro review for Aliens. Yeah, this is a James Cameron joint. This is basically, I think, the second movie you've ever done since. Yes, that Piranha movie that I did research for. You actually sat through Piranha 2: The Spawning. Yes, should I have not? Dude, you're doing good. You're doing good. Just I don't know, finish up on specs. Right, so the Future War was all over the place, and if retro is still, you really did see that, or play, which is both. You really played that Resistance game, right? Yeah, why? Nothing, I just wanted to make sure that it's all about, I think, line up to the first 2 movies, and you're basically just an NPC guy just trying to move the plot along, essentially. Yeah, and then, speaking of Kyle, there was a DLC section of, basically his motivation to sticking with Sarah. Speaking of her, this is probably the most, very play against type that I've seen of Linda Hamilton later in her career, because, yeah, she didn't start out like the T2 badass that you guys probably remember in the movies. Yeah, starting off on her end, she basically, is eventually going to be John's mom. And there's also been, I think, new info, I think, for me, that she didn't father John from Kyle. Maybe it was some other guy. Then it was, like, a whole other thing. Like people are leading out to be. There's some old fan theories about that. Just check out the wiki yourself in case I'm wrong there. For Linda Hamilton herself, I think I've also mentioned this when I did the T2 review. Her twin sister also helped out in stunts and stuff like that. More so on her end in the first time around, because I think she broke her foot in the last couple of weeks of shooting. Speaking of the shooting of this movie, it was all over the place. I think the third act had to be done by miniatures, I think with the truck explosion, and I think the hydraulic press chase, if I remember correctly, was basically the start of all the old lore about Cameron's pitch for the movie, that it was a fever dream he had where he was doing the spawning to I think shoot for that, and just had like a really hay dream kind of stuff. Well, maybe some kind of hay fever, I don't know which, but what you really need to know is that he had a nightmare about this kind of scenario as like a, I guess I think a wonder kind of scene kind of deal. Yeah, and I don't know, something about the skeletal system kind of reminds me of, I don't know, adamantium. If there was ever a time I wanted me, or I guess my now resurrected brother, yeah, where is Dawkins? I need to make sure he's not gone bad. No, he's good. You guys took the joy out of this, you know that? Wow, you're really starting to sound like your young self. I think you've been in this time a little too long, don't you think? Not as long as the Brolin version of me. Yeah, we'll talk about him next time. So, yeah, overall thoughts. There are some details we missed. I don't want to keep it brief. Lance Henderson, I found out this tidbit that I think early on in the production he was supposed to be the Terminator himself. Also, a certain, I don't know, football guy that had the name Juice that I don't want to talk about because, yeah, it's been 3 decades, and, yeah, I think that guy really did it. Yeah, some old stuff. Read the wiki. But in Lance's case, he actually helped Cameron pitch the movie by, I guess, having a bunch of tinfoil stuff and bursting into the studio office just like this, right? Yes, the good recreation, Nathan. That's really cool. Yeah, and then the studio execs got really scared and stuff like that, and I think him and Arnold almost got Kyle. Am I stepping over facts or anything like that? No, we're just wrapping up. Okay, so this is a retro review, so TechCom and Specs would say that you're not really doing scores, right? No, not till the new anime comes out this weekend. So, yeah, that's kind of what we overall think. There's a lot of iconic scenes that I don't have time to talk about because, honestly, if this is your first time watching the movie, please go ahead and watch yourself. The puppeteering is very Stan Winston. I think this is the earliest Stan Winston stuff I said since I want to say Aliens earlier this month on my retro review side of things. Ultimately, it's really up to you if you guys want to see this movie going into the new anime. All I really want to know is it going to line up to the first 2 movies? In a word, so far with the details, yes and no, but not by really much. Other than that, it's the Terminator. It is the benchmark of pretty much a lot of Cameron's filmmaking as time went on. There's like memoirs about the guy's early career and him just bouncing from paycheck to paycheck and stuff like that. Given that decades later becomes the king of the world and titan of billionaire movies, so I don't know, that's kind of how it is. Any last thoughts, Cable, since you're here and this was your idea of the retro review? Right, ultimately, I love this movie. I know Retro has his affinity to the story, the tone, but for me, it's the survival of it all. To make a long story short, I've been around in multiple dead timelines, just like this franchise was, going through studios, and I can tell you, just the idea of surviving in harsh environments and it coming into your present is horrifying, and there's no getting around it. The first one is the closest thing to a horror movie I believe the entire franchise regretfully became more actiony as time went on, tactically speaking. And with that all being said, I don't know, it could be worse, it could be better, but ultimately it is the Terminator. It is the benchmark of it all, and I could have sworn I seen that love scene, right? That's the nice PG way to say it. No, you probably got a TV cut. It happens to the best of us. Wait, did Scotty try to give me a TV cut? Yeah, that might have been a thing. Wow, he is really trying his best to copy you. Is this like you getting a fan or something here? I don't know, maybe. So with that all being said, and I guess Cable being confused over here, has everything Scotty tried told me is wrong? What have I done tactically? Ah! Over there to my previous video, which was obviously talking about the Crow remake, and my focus aside, go to I guess lower. Yeah, your figure is really not photogenic for 4K. What's going on there? Is it time for an upgrade? God, I hope not. Yeah, go to me here for probably a quick review or quick react to Critical Role episodes 105. Oh, and the new season trailer drops, so we're going to talk about that probably later in the week before 106 drops this week. So that all being said, take care, subscribe, and yeah, we are Retro Writers. Wait, I'm not a writer. Oh, yeah, you got it. Doing our retro review. With that all being said, take care, subscribe, and you're good for the anime this week, right? Yes, technically, I'm good. I am so ready for this. I don't look ready for this, don't I? Yeah, you do. Oh, come on.